Shout out to everybody who gonna watch this, or watching. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. You see this, the new shirts in Passport We Trust Colombia. See, all about that creative juices. All you haters, we drinking you crabs in a barrel. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And I appreciate that travel shit. Shout out to all of y'all. Like real talk. Let's talk about it. Have travel added up for you? Or has a lot of stuff in your life dwindled? Yo, go pick up the shirts. I got them in Brazil. I got them in every country, yo. Every country. Oh yeah, the shirt is fly. I like this one. Colombia. Man, shout out to all the people that love Colombia. Go pick up one of these shirts. In Passport We Trust is not too flashy, it's just simple. Cause you don't need all that extra while you're on the road. Bad enough you are, yo, what up? Shout out to Captain Saver. Real talk, has anything in your life added up? These to all the travelers, yo. Because a lot of people feel more anguish, more anger, because they were woken up or awakened by travel. You get what I'm saying? It like really, their creative juices started going through the roof. The opportunity to meet different people. Your crowd, what up? That has gone through the roof. The money, their less vainness or vanity, or their lessening of vanity. Like that's what travel has done for a lot of people. It has done the opposite for others. It made them want to get on a plane like never before because they've tasted the sultry nectar of foreign women. They tasted the sultry nectar of foreign women. And that right there could be an addiction within itself, let alone sex addiction. But when you tasted the natural sultry nectar of femininity, the nectar of femininity, the nectar of cooperation, the nectar of pleasing, sultry touches of a woman, and you've never experienced that before, even if it's for money, even if let's just be real. Yeah, y'all remember I did the little animation style, whatever it's called, info. Y'all know what it's called. You remember I put an article in there from 1896. When you bought a woman a gift, it was known as tricking. Back in 1896. The exchange for something, or it was foreign back in 1896 for a woman to receive something and not expect her to do anything. So that's why they was like, hold up, this is weird. You giving this woman flowers for no reason. You don't know her. Because back in the day, hundreds of years ago, men that gave a woman a flower, they would be courting them. That's why you saw Mel Gibson. What was that? The movie where he died and got his head chopped off and his people went to war in Scotland. You remember how he was courting her? Same thing in Africa. Same thing if you look at those representations of the tribal movies, same thing in Asia. When you brought a woman something, it was because you know her and you were courting her, right? Or you became familiar with her family, or you guys grew up together. So you were familiar. It was a community thing. Even if it wasn't a community thing, you'll still come around each other because the families are trying to get you guys to be bonded by marriage, right? Now, during 1896 and on, right? If you purchased something for a woman and you didn't get to know her family, think about this. Her family never met you. You come around with flowers, you come around with candy. They're like, yo, what the hell is this dude on? Just think about this. They like, and again, now it's normal, but back then it was less familiar or less frequent. There was no normality in that. So they like, you bringing her for what? What you trying to get? Like, it was known for turning a trick, right? Just think about that. Sup, yes, good topic. Watch, replay later. Work by 3 a.m. Oh, shout out to you. I don't see your full name. It just say MA. I hope that ain't Matrix Escape. So it was known as turning a trick, right? So what happened? The family was like, oh, yo, watch them. So the police officers in certain towns, they would now, Mark B, what up, bro? Oh, Mark B, Mark B, go get your rest, bro. The love you showed to this channel financially, bro, shout out to you, man. Shout out to the Most High's watching. From my heart, shout out to you, bro. But that's the crazy part about it. So think about this. The police now would have overtime because they would watch the boys and because this wasn't normal. This wasn't normal. Now the theaters are staying open later, right? Now you got drive-ins. Now that wasn't normal. When drive-ins started to happen back then, it wasn't normal none of this stuff was normal. So it was known as turning a trick. Let me give you something so I can get something. You get what I'm saying? So it was foreign. Now that's normal. For dudes to pay for women's rent, back in the day, that was unheard of. People would lose their mind. You pay your mother, the people in the neighborhood would have damn near castigated you, yo. What's up, yes? Everything litty for you, bro. Thanks a lot, A here. Yeah, my channel's starting to grow, man. Starting to grow, views start to grow, but it's taking a slow turn. So shout out to all of y'all for sharing the streams and all of that. Shout out to y'all, videos and everything. But it was like, it wasn't normal, paying a woman's rent. Now you see a girl going on people's shows and they giving her light. You got basketball wives. You got all of this stuff where guys are like giving these women platforms now. This wasn't like that 100 years ago, but it's normal now. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, it's like, Theory JC, what up, 6 bro, and we are. It's like now, since it's been normal or normalized, everybody's like, yo, you could get away with that tricking, right? You could get away with turning a trick for a rent and you're not touching her, right? Like 1896. You could that's what we need to name this now. We need to name this 1896. All of the stuff that's going on. We need to really do a documentary called 1896, When Tricking Began. Somebody need to do a documentary. I'm not doing it. I'm too busy. Somebody need to do a documentary on 1896, When Tricking Began. I just gave somebody a dope ass idea. You heard it here first. And I'm going to keep up this live stream. J.A., what up, bro? It don't say the name still because I'm not at 1,000 subscribers. Almost there. Almost there. The subscriber count is growing. But somebody need to really do that. Because before, it was only kings and dignitaries and Jules, what up, bro? It was only these people housing women or putting them up. It was known as, it was a status thing. The dignitaries or judges or kings or royalty or anybody, they were known to put women up. So that was a private thing. That was a private matter, right? That's why you see a lot of these presidents, the first presidents that were around, they had mistresses and all of that, and they would put them up somewhere because that was known as a higher, it wasn't known as a common thing. But in 1896, that's when it began to be common for you to buy women jewelry, buy them roses, ride around in your car, go pick them up and take them to work. They started doing that around that time. And it was still like the high, like the people that can afford it, who had a wealthy father. That's all. It was only in certain neighborhoods at the time. But it started to grow. 1920, when the wars started coming, 1930, 1940, you saw all of this start to transition where men begin turning a trick, begin cool because of the way the world was working. So women started being in the workforce. Women had more of a voice. Feminism started hitting like never before. Men were going to war, having babies overseas. That's where we get that from. That war. Going overseas to have different families and moving around. Y'all don't understand how this transpired. Now I got more of detail. I could get into more detailed dates and stuff like that. But why? Why? The way the world's working now, why? We just need to get to the bottom of how we got here and how your traveling is adding up. So when men came back from war, think about in the 60s and 70s. It was, women were in the offices. Women were running the newspaper line. Women were in the car making good money at the time. And the man was just coming back, he all on coked up or on heroin, and he all jacked up, not all of them. Or he was interested in a woman overseas. So the wars were making it more like, damn, some women over there that, I just came back. My woman ain't the same. I came back to America from war. Your grandfather, your great-grandfather, she ain't the same. She's still holding it down, but her attitude ain't the same, her personality, ever since she got out there in the workforce. So that began to change. It wasn't the same. So the single dudes coming back from war, they got a gang load of money. They start putting on that charm and that pizzazz. Because now they got to get acclimated back to American society in the 20s and 30s and 40s. And so this, when all of this became normal, it started becoming normal for men. You heard stories of men having babies overseas and left them. And not to say that was everyone. No, it was a wealthy man thing, but the guys going to war, of course. We saw the results of all of these countries back in the 60s and 70s, all the babies that were left there. We've seen the color change in a lot of these areas. We've seen the eyes change for the European guys over there in Europe, dropping babies over there. Those was the white guys. The black guys went to Asia. Let's just be real. We've seen the color change. We've seen the eye change. We've seen the phenotype change around the 60s, 70s, and 80s. We've seen this. The 40s, the 50s. We've seen this. Because they left lots of babies overseas. Lots of them. And when they tell their stories, think about a man coming back from war or overseas telling a story how he had all of these women. You think those guys were... So when I heard my stories of my grandfather and uncles, and I'm like, you had to leave babies over there. So it made me think, yo, the women over there were just catering. I heard these stories and I always wanted to go overseas because I heard these stories. If you didn't hear them directly, you heard somebody that heard them. And yo, my grandfather, my great-grandfather was over there. He told me it was like this over there with the women. How they put on their little skirts and dance for them. with the little symbols in their hand in Asia. He used to tell these stories. So you guys just missed it. But I'm here to give you the actualities, the history of this. This is why you always had an inkling to go overseas. Women came back, they heard their father. The father would leave out all of the kids he made over there, and he would tell them, oh, it's so beautiful, the culture, the nature. He'll leave out the women when he told his daughters that, so the ladies wanted to go. I heard it's beautiful of it. And then when the vegetarian diets, and they brought all of those diets and all of those stuff started coming in like never before. But at first it hit the rich and the wealthy communities before it came to those now. The internet made everything universal. But that Mediterranean diet was here for over 60 years. The internet made all of this universal for you guys to follow this. I'm giving you the history of to why guys always wanted to go and why women wanted to go. Oh, women over there are so tiny. Their fathers used to come back and tell them this. So they implemented that, and notice that they implemented that in the fashion industry. All what they saw overseas, they implemented that in the fashion industry, all throughout Europe, they brought that back to the States. All throughout Asia, they saw, all throughout Africa, they saw all of these different designs, these different ways of dress, and they brought it back. So let's get back to turning tricks, and we're going to get into everything else. We could talk about it all because the history is out there. You guys just don't want to delve into it. So when that happened, again, they came back, their wives changed and all of that. So all they had was, many of these men felt miserable in their minds when they came back from war, when they came back. They were like, I'm not getting treated the same. So they always have these stories in their heads of how the foreign women used to treat them. And they brought those stories back. Even when the Desert Storm and all that, they had women. You'd think they wasn't out there getting women. So Cold War and all of this stuff, people know those stories, and they had those stories to give to the fellas. I heard some of those stories, and I was like, what? But I always used to hear how overseas the women treat you different. I always heard that since I was a little kid. So I'm telling fellas, like, especially living up in the city, bro, you be out listening to people's stories while you at a bar, listen to people's stories while you walking in there in the park, and they on that good. They gonna tell them stories of what it was like in the 80s when they went to war, what it was like in the 70s and 60s when they went to war. And think about it. I was born in the 80s, so I used to hear the stories that used to happen back in the 60s and 70s because I was still a kid. I was only 20 years removed from that. 20 years removed from all of those stories. 20 some odd years removed from all of that. So I was able to listen and hear. And so if you think I heard that, picture all of the people that went back to the country. Their towns are real slow. They brought them stories back. Oh, the women here ain't nothing. Them women overseas, especially when your uncle, your cousin or somebody like who older than you, got the older cousin, they get drunk, they start telling them stories. You're like, damn, it was like that? And many men heard them, now we acted on them later, but they were still in our subconscious. But we felt like it was easier here, so we was turning tricks here. Shout out to Colombia. Everybody going to Colombia. Look at this shirt, it's fly. So that's all I'm telling fellas. I'm like, listen, it's in you. Subconsciously, it's in you. You heard this story from somewhere, it's in you. So turning the trick is now cool. But turning the trick for sex, they still trying to shun upon it, but that's going to become normal. So 1,000 years from now, not even 1,000, 200 years from now, people going to hear these stories like, y'all were doing that 200 years ago? Y'all were against this? It's going to be a normality. It's going to be normal. So I'm telling fellas, this is where all this came from. It was built up in you, it was spread through you. You didn't know it. You heard stories, but you probably just, But what travel has done for you, is it adding up? So we could get into the history of all that, but is it adding up for you right now? The stuff that you learned overseas, the stuff that you know, is it adding up for you? That's the question. Is your bank account growing? Are you going over there burning all your bread to leaving you with nothing? Or the ladies going over there trying to be fly in Europe, buying expensive stuff that you ladies can't afford. Going out there, I remember going, what's that spot over there in Europe that's expensive, the mall area? And they charging like, they up the charge, probably like 40% upcharge on all of the items. So if you think about that. So is it adding up, or are you trying to be something that you're not? Since the internet made everybody equipped to learn all of this or go and seek this stuff. Like, it's adding up for me. I'm staying in the crib. You can't knock me and say, oh man, I don't want it because I chose to stay in the crib. You stay in the crib. Don't blame me for you overspending. That's your problem. You started traveling, you're still overspending. I don't care who you are. That's your problem. You go overseas and you just throwing paper in the air like it's, nah. That's your problem. You going there burning it like it, come on, man. Burning through your pockets like my father used to say back in the 80s. Boy, that money burning through your pockets. Why? Melvin, thanks a lot. He said, I'm interested. I'm listening at work. Keep up the great work. Man, thanks a lot, Melvin. That man said he listening at work. But the reason why I'm building all of this, because I want you to build the history to what you heard or what's in your subconscious to now. And you said you always wondered why, because it's in your subconscious. So is it adding up for you? Are you more a hater than you were before since you started traveling? Are you more of a hater now than ever? Like, what has travel? Are you paying attention to what they're saying on YouTube and you still haven't broke them chains, them mental chains? People's opinions of you. You still care about that? I'm one of the ones that don't give a damn what people think of me. I don't give a damn. I've been like that way damn near all my life. And it increased once I started traveling. Yo, you just broke. You can't afford women here. Okay, I'm broke. You see how I did with them? Yes, I'm everything you wanted and plus more. I'm a BAN. You know what that means. I'm not going to say that. I'm not. Oh, cool. I'm everything you say plus more, dude. You or any woman that's listening right now who's a hater. Let's drink these crabs real quick. That's what you got to say to them. I'm not going to harp on that because I don't like to talk about that. Let's go to something positive. Like, everybody that left or come around, now they give thumbs down because it bothers them that I'm still active and moving and they not in my life no more. Don't care. I don't got no problem with you, dude. You see how that works for me? I don't have a problem with you. I learned how to release stuff more and more and more. Our last trip going to Brazil, bro, a couple weeks ago, I learned how to remove like even more. Like, damn, it ain't that serious, yo. And I've been back for a while now. Yo, damn, it ain't that serious. That's why I told you I let a lot of that stuff go. And that's what I'm saying. Is it adding up for you? Adding up for me. Blocking haters, still trying to be creative and come up with different books to write that are important for the mind, or you see t-shirts like this, Columbia, and becoming creative. That's what travel is adding up for me. Helping fellas out, being on the phone with them, like trying to get a breakthrough mentally. We literally changed the game. Passport dude, yo. I'm going again. I just need to brush up on my Portuguese. All right, shout out to you, man. But I'm like, if it ain't adding up for you, bro, you doing the wrong thing. You chasing somebody else's vision, somebody else's dream around you, who sported Colombia, who sported DR, who sported Brazil, who sported Philippines, Southeast Asia, or that continent, Africa, the continent. Whoever sported it to you, you bought into their concept. So it's not working for you. Because if it was really working for you, it should be adding up by now. Like, I know somebody, real talk, who I'm cool with, close with. He hasn't traveled since, and it's been 5 years. It's been 4 or 5 years. Still haven't left the country for the first time. Still hasn't gone anywhere, because it's not for him. Travel is not for him. The thought of travel, like it is for many women, they make it happen. Women been traveling way before us. Women been traveling for years before us. So it's normal to them. We're not trying to catch up because we're going that way. That's the difference between men and women. We're going in a whole different direction with travel. We're not going in women's direction. That's what it's not meant for us. We're completely removing ourselves from the dating and marriage, like this whole paradigm. We're removing ourselves from this paradigm. We're completely, they're part of us too. We're going to win. That's what's adding up for us. We're going to win. We learned about having trades and all of that type of stuff. We're learning the skill sets that are needed to sustain ourselves in this travel game before it's too late. We're teaching nephews and cousins and uncles and who've been trapped mentally. We're even relinquishing them from their. So if you can't understand that, this channel ain't for you. It's not for you. You want to stay here. You want to do it. You want to continue to feed them. You want to continue to feed the beast? Feed the beast. Cool. That don't have nothing to do with us. That don't have nothing to do with it. So traveling is adding up for us. Now, I don't know what it's doing for women. It should be showing you how feminine some of these women are in these other countries, how cooperative they are, how the force is with the men. That's what it should be showing the ladies who watch this channel. How we're going to continue to do us no matter what. How you say you want a man to be a certain way. Because every time we talk to foreign women, they're like, American women demand so much. Why? And we were like, we don't know. So ladies, that's what y'all should be watching. How to do it correctly. Because we're not going to add papers. We're not going to give you our seed. And let's say if you still want to be down with us. That's how you, let me tell you the key, how we know if y'all going overseas and learning something. Because if you come back and you're more hostile, you come back and you're more vitriolic and you ain't learning anything. That's why we don't want to be around you. That's why. So ladies should be going overseas and see how it is to be actually a strong woman. Actually strong. And don't have to, I'm a strong, and you just doing what you got to do to keep your family together or to keep that community together. Because at any point there's danger. It's just the way it is. Londo, what up, bro? Just the way it is. That's what ladies should be learning. But we know you ain't, but we're still not going to trust you. That's the thing. You can go learn it all. Because the one way we can give you that semblance of trust, which is rare, if we never give you our seed and you're okay with that, and there's never any papers and you're okay with that. If you want to date somebody, that's what it's going to come down to. And for you to get out there and champion this, if you don't champion it, we know you ain't for us. And you shouldn't have no say-so over men. None. So, ladies, go overseas and learn that. Then you're going to chop it up as far as dating. Now, David Israel, what up, bro? If you want to do something else, that's different. That's different. You want to take your funds, house men, pay for their, that's on you. Create a social contract as far as that, that's cool. We living in a new day, new time. So that's what's adding up for us. All of what the normal things we would go through, we ain't going through them again. That's what it's training us to go. Like, why overspend? Why spend a lot of money going out for the weekend? You've done that for years. Everything should add up after you come back. I told you to get a big ass notebook. Get 4 of them from Walmart. Write all of your stuff down. Get them from whatever store you close to, dollar store, I don't care where it's at. Write everything that's coming in and going out. If your feelings are coming in still, even after you've been overseas and going out, you need to calculate that. You need to calculate your feelings going in and coming out. Everything. Everything needs to add up in your life at this point. But some of you got a passport and you say you use it for quick gratification and not what you should have. It's on you. But if you listen to me, you know I'm going to champion stuff adding up, stuff making sense in your lives. And for a lot of us who I know, it's adding up. They still don't got no kids in America. They saving like never before. They still learning how to become more of an extrovert than introvert. They're learning how to have conversation. They're learning about communication between men. They're learning all of these things. So I can't knock them for that. I can't. The only thing I could do is show love. So that should be more of a thing in your lives. Some things you can't control. Some things you can't control, fellas. But you can control the basics. You can get your feelings under wrap. If you're loose with your feelings, you need to go get help and sit on somebody's couch. But everything at this point, since you've been traveling, I don't care where you've been. I don't care where you've gone. You just need to go somewhere and pick up something from that culture, pick up something from that and bring it back. Not to be a bragging point. Not to be a bragging point. But something major like dating and marriage is a bragging point for us to have, seeing as though what we went through. I told y'all about the Stockholm Syndrome on my last live. How women put, like, your families, your uncles, the mothers and stuff like that, since the late 70s, 80s, they put it in your head that women can do no wrong. That's Stockholm Syndrome. You dudes feel sorry for women. You break that chain that they've had you under where women can do no wrong. You come to the realization that women can do wrong and they are ruthless and all of that, right? You see ruthless, where do you think they get that term from? Proverbs 30, ruthless, you get it? This goes over you guys' heads. And you're supposed to be atheists or not. Most all these terms that you use come from the scriptures. But you get what I'm saying? So if you guys, if if you guys understand this, right, that you broke free from them chains, but you still feel sorry for women, you suffer from Stockholm syndrome. You do. You feel sorry for the person that had you captive. You build some type of liking, love, some type of bond with them. You grow to like them. You grow to love them. And many of the guys that traveled overseas are suffering from that. They're suffering from that. Because they come back, oh no, she ain't that bad. Because they don't know contrived femininity. They don't want to know it. Because their mind's been captive since they've been born. Women can do no wrong. I told you there's an inverse to that. It's called the Lima syndrome. Because what happened in Lima, Peru in 1996 with the Tupac Amaru, y'all know I broke down that history. Look it up. In Lima, Peru, look it up. And why that's the inverse of that, where the captors feel sorry for the people that they captured. They ain't feel sorry for y'all. They ain't having no inverse, fellas. These women are more ruthless than before. They ain't so, but you suffering from Stockholm syndrome. You're suffering from that. You know you are. Because you're not breaking free that anybody can be, they can make errors. Everybody can do wrong. Whether it come in niceties or not. I keep telling y'all, I wrote in my book, women with glasses. You guys think because a woman wears glasses, she's and she talks softly? No. And for ladies, it might be men with glasses. I don't know. So you got to stop suffering. So when I came back from overseas, that increased my awareness by 10,000. I'm aware of my bank account. Yo, you doing wrong with this. Bro, what the hell are you doing? I'm aware of the surrounding, the people around me. Yo, he looks like, dude, you need to watch him. Even though I've been like that. Because I grew up in New Jersey. Like 10 minutes from New York. So it's in me. But all of that stuff, you should become more aware when you come back. And different things should be adding up in your life. But for some of you, you still don't get it. You're still seeking, you're seeking. There was one thing I was doing, man. I used to watch these videos all the time. You know how you see somebody, they say, yo, I became successful like this. And you're like, damn, I'm watching all these videos. Damn, I'm seeing all this stuff. That bug about to die. That bug crawled all around here. And then now it laid down. I guess it's dying. It just was crawling. So now you see. Yeah, this bug threw me off. I forgot what I was about to say. So that's what I'm saying, yo. What's adding up in y'all lives, yo? Is traveling really adding up? To what? To what? To you still caring about what people saying to you about you online, or just because you took on the title of traveler? Why did you take on that title? Why did you take on that title? Because you took on a title from another person's perspective, and that's wrong. If you're a traveler, say that you're one. Don't let nobody define you and travel. That's why these dudes could get online and talk all that crap. Why are you letting these people define you? Why are you letting your family members, when you go around a barbecue? You say, yo, women overseas are more feminine. Y'all start getting into, because you know that always happens when you're the single, attractive dude and everybody married or everybody got a girlfriend or something like that, and you get around a cookout. Oh, yes. Why don't you have a, because women in the United States that I've come in contact with, only me. I can't speak for none of y'all around here. They're ruthless. They don't work for me. Oh, what do you mean? I say women in all other countries will bring you a damn plate and you don't have to return the favor. You don't never have to return the favor. Then they say, what else? What places have you gone? Then they try to corner you. You heard me talk about this before. They try to corner you. You're going to, yeah, I heard there's a lot of sex tourism over there. That, you know, because they always watch stuff that going on the internet. And my reply is, oh, you heard of sex tourism? Have you gone? Oh, you should try it. What do you mean? What places have you gone? Well, I went to the places where they said there was sex tourism there. What places have you heard about? Oh, yeah, I was all throughout there. Oh, it's running rampant through there. Oh, it's just so baffling how it's running rampant through there. Oh, it is? Yes. Cooperation is running rampant through there. Cooperation? What? Yes, cooperation. Women cooperating with men that they meet from foreign countries. Oh, what? And they don't want anything from you. It's natural forms of femininity. Have you ever heard natural femininity? Generational femininity? That's what you gotta tell them, generational. Have you ever heard of generational femininity? Oh, it's something new. You heard a new term here today. Generational femininity? I'm like, yeah, generational femininity. What does that mean? It's women that the feminine nature of them were passed down from generation. So even if they try to be like a feminist, man haters, it just don't sit well with their natural energy. It just doesn't sit well with them. Their natural makeup, their subconscious. Oh, it doesn't? No, it doesn't, because they love to bring you a plate. And when something is on that plate that they don't want, they love to pick it out for you. What? Yes. They love to wash your dirty drawers, and you don't have to ask. What? Seriously? No, you don't have to give return. You cook one day, I cook the next. You don't have to do those things. What? Yes, it's running rampant all throughout there. Oh, you shouldn't go, because you'll get infected. That's what you do. You don't go to the barbecue. Man, forget all of you. No. You play them on the same energy that they bring into you. You give them that same energy. You give them that same energy. Like the woman who broadcasted live from MABS. She thought she was going to stop dudes from going to MABS. Dudes wanted to go to MABS even more to see what it's about. All she did was advertise for us. Thank you, young lady. Whoever lady was that video that everybody was passing around in all these groups and even made videos online on Instagram and on YouTube, where she was at MABS broadcasting live as if she's sexy. And men was like, we ain't come here for you. You got that infection on you. Yeah, shout out to Apex, I got options. You got that infection on you. You're like Walking Dead. That's what you go to barbecues and say. You don't have to be all up in, no. Learn wit. You guys need to learn wit, how to be witty and quick on the draw and practice it. Because you know it's coming. When your family come around, you know it's coming. And they always say, I don't see how you could get on a plane and travel so far all the time. You say easy. Because I wasted thousands upon thousands of hours dating in the United States. It's easy. The lady, damn, shit. I can't see it. You got to restate the, just copy it and repaste it so I can put it in. I don't know who that is. Y'all got to have taglines so I get to this 1,000 subscribers. Y'all got to put taglines so I can know who y'all are. It's not letting me see y'all names. So she advertised for MABS. You thought dudes was gonna say, oh, American, it caused a reverse. Yeah, it did. Dudes started flooding out to Brazil after that video. After that video came out of that American chick at MABS, seeing all of those women selling their poom poom, right? It made dudes want to go to MABS even more. They didn't even know about MABS. A lot of them didn't even know. And some of them that didn't know it was like that. All she did was put the icing on the cake to their feelings to wanting to go and book the ticket. That's all she did. I'm sure she was the least attractive at MABS. Yeah, she was. Oh, she was. Ugh. And she was overweight from what I was seeing in the video. So she had them braids in her hair, think she doing to act like she looking sexy. Them dudes were looking right past her. Well, not you chubby chasers, because I don't care what y'all say. You told them she thick. No, she's chubby and she's overweight. According to the scales that we have out here in this world. See, the black man scales any old thing. And I'm saying that. I got the right to say that. A black man scale, you like, what? That scale, it could be 204 pounds and they'll think that's lightweight. So, we got to stop that. So all I'm saying is, if you think about it, she increased people that want to go. She made people want to go. Bring on the truck scale. Oh, that must be Gregor. Say GR. I bet you that's Gregor. I bet you that's Gregor starting to troll. He said, bring on the truck scale. Because it's a different thing. So when she went there, dudes was like, yo, I'm loving MABS. Dudes leave MABS. He said, yeah, I knew it was you. Dudes leave MABS and they want to go back. So they trying to go to places that we go, because women, let's just be real. A lot of American women weren't going to Brazil. I know women to this day that's been everywhere, but they haven't gone to Brazil yet. That place was a place that they did not want to go, because Brazil, for a lot of women in the States, it breeds competition. There's no way they can win against Brazilian women. They can't. There's no way. American women can. I don't care if they white, black, brown, maroon, yellow. I don't care what they call themselves. You ain't winning. If you white going there, we got a plethora of white people there. If you black, we got a plethora. If you brown, we got that. If you maroon, we got that. Oh, you want to talk about continents? You want Asia? Asia's there. You want Africa? Africa's there. You want Europe? Europe is there. What can you tell us there? If you want indigenous, indigenous is there. There's nothing you can tell us. You can't name a continent that you can't, they're all there. If they're not there, they look like the people that are from there. They look like the people from there. You go to Asia, you go to Thailand, all of that, what you felt about women or heard about, you could get it there. All you heard about the beautiful islands, Japan got over 1,600 islands, 1,300, it's over 1,000. 1,000 different small islands around Japan. You heard about it. It's a better melting pot than the U.S. Yeah, it is. Brazil is. You heard about it. You want to go to Europe? Some parts you know not to go because of the... But they got distinct places, and don't ever... Let me tell y'all a key. What's still not adding up to a lot of you fellas. Do not bring your women back to the States. They're always going to change. It might take 4 years. It might take 5 years. It might take 10 years. But eventually, that infection will take hold. I just got to tell y'all that. I'm telling y'all, I'm giving you guys solutions. I've been giving solutions. See, I give solutions here. I give solutions every stream I ever done, I always give solutions. Man, I think that's a B. I'm going to put him out of his misery. I'm putting him out of his misery. Yeah, I had to put him out of his misery. I can't see him walking around and suffering like this. Same way I put y'all out your misery. Get a passport and stop complaining. That's what I'm trying to do. Just like I put this damn bug out of his misery for suffering, I put you guys out your misery. Get your passport and start going overseas. If you're miserable, your finances all over the place, get 4 jobs, stop going out, stop worried about clothes, stop worried about shoes, stop worried about what people think about you, and put your head down and go to work. Solution. The ultimate solution, get your passport, number 1. Once you acquire your passport, work hard. Work hard, put your head down and work. Take years, even if you got to take years to go overseas. Take years. Learn about investments. Build your money up so much that you got an extra $5,000 in the bank, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, whatever you choose. Put $500 in a stock and just leave it. Don't bother. You see what I'm saying? Don't worry about a woman with a spandex on, because they try to get you with the spandex and the shorts with their ass hanging out. You guys are still concerned with that. I'm like, yo, forget American women with their ass hanging out, with the spandex on. Forget all of that. Forget everything you've heard about. I told you, when I walk down the street, see a woman, I turn the other way. Don't even look at her. She's no interest to me. Now, if I'm out and about in a restaurant, we having a good time, yeah, we'll be like, damn, she pretty. And keep it moving. Because we could get them. Jay Clyde proved that when we did the anniversary joint years ago. A couple years ago. So I'm telling you, fellas, there's solutions in this. There's solutions in this. Are you taking these solutions? I don't know. Are you looking for entertainment? I don't know. Well, I wear this proudly on the street. In Passport We Trust, hashtag Colombia, Brazil, Africa, whatever you want. Tanzania, I got all the shirts. In Passport We Trust. Solutions. I can't tell you what to invest in. You got to go looking for it. If you want it bad enough, hell, you wanted to get out of liking American women bad enough, you went overseas. Do the same thing with your finances, bro. Do the same damn thing. Everything you do in your life at this point should be adding up. To what? I don't know. It shouldn't be adding up to nothing negative. Nothing negative. You know what it's like to be able to get on the plane and go when you want because you got enough money in the bank? That's a dope feeling, bro. That's a dope-ass feeling. Now, the time on your job is something different. Now, you can make time. I told y'all about weekend trips, how to travel like a 9-to-5 person. Go look at my video. You can make it happen if you want. If you really want it bad enough, you're going to make it happen, bro. You're going to get to that island, that destination that you want. My brother just came back from Maldives. I'm seeing a lot of people going to Maldives now, but he was one of the first ones that mentioned it. But he don't have a YouTube channel. You can make it happen, dude. Everything you're doing right now has to add up. People at your job should notice something different. People in your family should know, like, yo, I'm much happier. Because, yo, you let a lot of shit go. So now I told y'all about this years ago. You got to empty your bank, your mental bank. A lot of you guys' bank is still full, so everything new, you can't cash in. You can't deposit. Y'all can't deposit nothing in your mental bank because everything is full with trash on the internet or anger that you built up. I'm like, yo, that's why you can't make a deposit. So every time you go overseas, you can't make a deposit. You're supposed to make a deposit of happiness. You can't do that because your mental bank is full with just a bunch of garbage that ain't worth nothing. Ain't worth anything. Just cortisol levels rising. Your norepinephrine is not doing anything because it's not making the cortisol levels subside. It's doing a lot for us, though. We winning over here. In Passport We Trust, Travel Doctrine, MWIOC, MWWIOC. We doing good. We put less online now. We in stealth mode at this point. I just saw a movie on HBO that said classic before I came live. It's stealth. The movie Stealth at Classic is on HBO right now. Probably went off now. Stealth. Playing it live right now. And that's what we're learning how to do. Moving in stealth mode. Putting some stuff on the internet to encourage brothers, but leaving a lot of it off. I just did a video for Patreon called the 9 Steps to Get a Foreign Woman. 9 steps. All my Patreon, who part of my Patreon, go watch the video. It's up there right now. I didn't put it on YouTube and I'm not going to. Because it doesn't need to be here. That's the same video that I did like 15,000 views with Leia, was in the picture. And I used a thumbnail of her, and I put the 9 steps how to get a foreign woman. That video on my last channel that I deleted, and people gonna keep reminding me of that, like Ralph reminded me this week about it. It's like every week somebody remind me about that channel. I say, hey, I gotta start all over again. Do I have some regrets about it? Yes. I wish I would have saved all them videos. I got some of them saved on my laptop that crashed, but that hard drive is still there. So I'm gonna get those videos off there. I got some of them, and that's a fact. Y'all thought I deleted all of them? Nah. So I'm telling guys, I'm like, yo, this is how you win. We can't give you everything. We can't put everything online, but this is how you win. Shit like me, chill with me. Every time I go live, smoke a cigar with me. Toast up with me. Drink these crabs in a barrel, these motherfucking YouTube crabs. I ain't mean to curse. Drink those crabs. They ain't nothing. They're sitting in their mama basement. Jews, do you ever plan to remake that type of content? Jews had content? This feels good. Grown ass man, sitting back chilling, not chasing no ass after you get off from work, not buying no whores after you get off from work, just sitting here chilling. Sitting here chilling, chopping up with the fellas, and if I wasn't live, I'd be up here every day, chilling, enjoying the rest of my night. Spirit Airlines messed up ATL flight. I will send email. I heard something going down with Spirit. You don't need to smoke a cigar. Get you a glass of wine. Get you a beer and just sit there and chill. Now, don't gain no beer belly, because I've seen a lot of you dudes' stomachs. See, a lot of you dudes' stomachs. Get rid of that stomach. Shout out to Skinny Gang. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with sitting here chilling. See, my life is adding up at this point. Instead of being diminishing returns. Just like finances, diminishing returns. You buying women dinners and taking them out, diminishing returns. You get nothing from it. Nothing you're getting from it but an entitled woman. That's it. Going out there buying sneakers every week, living from check to check, diminishing returns. Driving around just to burn gas and police pull you over and now you got to deal with them, or somebody cut you over in traffic and now you want to get out your car and do something ungodly. Because you're still angry, because your mental bank is full with trash. You see, I've seen some of the most angriest motherfuckers traveling. Got passports traveling, and some of the most angriest dudes. I'm like, dude, because his mental bank is trash. Let's just be real. He's just a cut off all the road from turning crazy. I don't want to be around you. It must add up. You must let everything add up. For instance, like the lady that did the video at MABS. She was trying to make it add up to take shots at us. It did the opposite. It was the inverse. Your American woman went to Brazil out of all places and tried to take a shot at men? Like that was gonna work? We did more videos from MABS. We did more videos from Brazil. Dudes started flying to Brazil like crazy doing videos. She thought that was going to add up to taking shots at us and being negative. No, it made us remove our economics from the United States and take it elsewhere. Dude said, okay, well, let me go over here to Thailand. I don't want to go to Brazil because I don't want to see no American women. Well, let me go to Thailand. Let me go to Africa. Let me go to Europe. Dude started doing that. So they didn't have to go to Brazil. They went elsewhere. Didn't hurt anything. She didn't stop anything, and neither are the guys making videos about us. Diminishing returns, your mental bank, Stockholm Syndrome, the mental version of Stockholm Syndrome is strictly you've been beat down mentally for all these years and didn't know it. You thought this was normal. Chaos became normal to you. When there's no order, there's chaos. I told y'all my favorite quote, information is best qualified by the actions you take after you receive it. So you receive all this information all online, all doing this, and y'all still asking the same damn questions years later. Some dudes, I'll stop in a travel stream and I'll be like, that dude asked that question to me fucking 3 years ago. This dude is in somebody else's chat asking the same damn thing. That mother ain't traveling. They've been asking the same questions for 3-4 years and ain't used their passport yet. Hell, some of them don't even have a passport. Mismanaging their funds, still chasing ass in the strip club and all that. It's cool to be No. No more diminishing returns. Come back like a real traveling dude. Do it like a boss. Hell, your money goes far overseas anyway. Some places, not them places that they westernized. I don't know who's saying that. Somebody's saying a whole bunch of nothing. Waste some wine on my new shirt. Got ashes all over it and everything. Go grab these shirts online, fellas. Go to my website. With that t-shirt picture, click on that. It's going to send you to Teespring. You buy nothing on my site. Everything sends you to Teespring. I'm about to make my return to Colombia too. I've been hearing about that place. One particular place that I'm not going to name, because Gregor and all of them, and the lovers of that particular place ain't going to want me to say it. And Gregor is watching right now. I'm surprised Jay Claudia, if they was both in here at the same time, they'll tell me not to say it. You ever been to Argentina? Hell no, never. Every time I meet a person from Argentina, they seem like some of the most racist people I've ever met. Like they can't stand black skin, so I'm good. Now, is that the whole entire country? No, I'm not saying that. But why would I go to Argentina when I got Brazil? Brazil's right above that. Brazil's everything I need in South America. I just would go places just to see about some stuff, like Colombia, like I always want to go to the Ghana, Guyana. I mean, yeah, man. They told me every time I meet somebody. I remember I was in Brazil, and I was talking to this lady from Argentina, and I asked her, I said, why are you in Brazil? Don't Argentina have them same beaches and stuff like that? I was just curious. She was like, oh, I love Brazil. I said, why do you love Brazil? Don't you supposed to love Argentina? Y'all country's supposed to be all of that in a bag of chips, right? Then why are you in Brazil? It was just crazy. It was just funny to me hearing her explain why she's in Brazil. And people say, well, who are you? She could explain. I was just asking questions. She didn't have to explain. J. Clyde, what up, bro? 6, and we up. She didn't have to explain. And I asked her, I said, your country is racist. I always hear that about Argentina, yeah. I said, your country is racist. They hate my color. I ain't say my kind. I ain't say my people. I ain't say none of that. I said, they hate people that share my same skin color. Not race, ethnicity, group in a category. They just hate people of my skin color. And she paused. She didn't deny it. She paused. She never said, no, we don't. Yeah, been noticing them on Tinder, Brazil, and had to pop that question. Yeah, I never. Argentina, you can have that. You can keep Argentina. I will never go there. Never. She said, oh, you should go. I said, why? I said, I'm in the Mecca. Aren't you in the Mecca? She was like, what you mean by Mecca? I said, I'm in Brazil. That's the Mecca of all countries. I said, do they have their problems like everybody else? Yes. Are they suffering from certain things? Yes. I said, but these beautiful people make it do what it do even throughout that. I said, your country don't do that. And I could just go right there. It's just a plane ride away. It's right there. But I'm not going to do it. Now, again, am I saying all the people in Argentina that lives there, all you people that's living here from the U.S. that claim, let me say this. I want to say this live so it can be clear. All you people that claim countries and people have their certain critiques about them and you say that ain't my country and try to defend it, then why you ain't there? Let me say that to all of you. If your country is so this and that and that and that and that, and they got the mental as well as the finances, why you ain't there? If your country's so great, you should be there. You don't feel your country's great, that's why you're with everybody else. They should have the economics, they should have the psychological makeup, the mental, they should have all of that. If your country is so great. But obviously your country ain't great because your ass is over here with us. Because there's a difference. We make a delineation. There's a distinction between greatness, good, okay, and suck. But if you say your country's so great or you so gung-ho, you waving your flag, why you ain't in your country? Go back there. You learn how economics work. Go bring that same knowledge that you learn. I don't care what country it is. I don't care if it's on the continent of Africa, Europe, Asia. I don't care where it's at. Australia, I don't care where it's at. If your country's so dope and you waving a flag everywhere, then go back to that country. You learned enough. Shouldn't you bring that information back to your people? Obviously you can't. I'm going to do a video on that. All these flag waving, all these island countries, and if your island is so dope, go back there. You shouldn't be here with us. See, we say if your country is good because we're outsiders visiting your country. And this motherfucker's still coming on me. You still coming on me. I'm about to kill that man. I hate them man bugs. You wish them away and they still try to land on you. Then you kill them, now they dead. I'm trying to save you by throwing you away, you still coming. Mosquitoes tearing me up here, boy. This is the first time they were up here like this. Some puddle of water might be somewhere that they're breeding from. Those people, every time I come out here, those same people come out here and just be staring at me and trying to, every time I come out here, they say, "What's up?" Yelling from the next building. That's about 20 stories up there, boy. But people hate when you put it like that. People hate when you put it like that, yeah. America is always going to be better than you. You know what they subconsciously doing without even knowing it? They making America seem way better than their countries because they waving a flag from here. So they're waving a flag from here, but they got so much to say about the people in their country, how great they are, but they stay here for 30, 40, 20 years, never go back. Yeah, I hate the truth, but I'm here to give it. That's why I'm like, I told you, America is dope. And we ain't going through what everybody else thinking that the world is going through. But the dating and marriage side of things, America lacks in that. I can honestly say that. My pops told me the story how my uncle, because we kept wondering when we was little, my uncle was old as hell. When I was little, my uncle was 65. So picture what age he'll be right now if he was still living. And I was like, when he died at 65, I probably was like 16 or 15. So you do the math. And I'm reaching 40. And he was 65 at the time. And that was my father's brother. So he was telling a story how in the 70s, he said he hated women since the 70s. And I was like, what do you mean? He said he'll never get married ever again. He won't take women seriously. He'll never put his seed in them. Or he'll never take them on as girlfriends. In the 70s, he felt like this. Let me tell you what happened. My uncle got married to this woman in the Carolinas. I'm not going to say which part. And the woman, my uncle was always a kind-hearted dude, right? This woman who he was married to had a baby by the next door neighbor. Real talk. Had a baby by the next door neighbor. So my pops was little. He was younger than my uncle. My uncle's way older than him. So my pops was my pops, how old was he? So my pops was probably like 18 or 17 years old. He went to court with my uncle, right, in the 70s. So next thing I don't know, my pops said he went to court with him. My pops remember this vividly. He said he went to court with my uncle, and back then they didn't have DNA tests. Do you know that the court, since they didn't have DNA tests, he sat before a judge, and the judge made my uncle pay for child support for that ex-wife in the 70s, the early 70s. Made him pay for her living, all of that, and to take care of that child, even though the judge knew that the child wasn't his. The woman knew that the child was. This was happening in the 70s, and he was married to her. So I heard stories like this back in the day. I asked my uncle. I said, my uncle was skinny, slim. He wore glasses. I remember my uncle's face like it was like before he died, right? Because I had to push him in the wheelchair. When I was like a teenager, I was young. I was like 14, 15. And so I asked my uncle, I said, why you, and my uncle never answered me. I said, why you never with a woman? He never answered, but he always had that vitriol, a quiet vitriol and my uncle always worked in New York. He left the Carolinas, moved to New York, and worked for the office buildings and built himself up to where he saved all his bread. My uncle always was a saver. He never spent his money, never did nothing crazy with it or anything. But in the 70s, he had to take care of a child that wasn't his. A child that he never communicated with, never said anything to, never built a connection, because that wasn't his child. This happened in the 70s, women out there spreading their legs, and he was married to her and dedicated to her. So I'm like, yo, people crack me up how they think that these feelings toward women just came around. I heard these stories. And I knew my uncle's disposition. I knew his character. And he never had women around. He always had this quiet vitriol. PayPal, might want to fix that. You can send me things on PayPal. I don't know what you mean. You can. Let's put it in there and I'll, so I would give out that other email, but I just go to, you could do a few of them. I got a few of them. Yes Jonas 1, the number 1 at Gmail. Go to that one. So it's two of them. Yes Jonas at Gmail and Yes Jonas 1 at Gmail. So either one of those will work. So my uncle always had this, but he never let it boggle. He never talked bad about American women. He just didn't deal with them. He just didn't deal with them after that incident. He just left them alone. Yeah, shout out to Grego for putting it in there. And Yes Jonas 1, the number 1 after Yes Jonas at gmail.com also. Oh, Mr. G's in here. Shout out to him too, man. Mr. G's, Double G's, what up, bro? Shout out to Mr. Double G's. But so when you hear stories like that, and people got to know me, they know my character, they know I won't be lying about this. I'm very inquisitive. Even when I was a child, I used to write stuff down. I used to want to know history, want to know things that happened. And for that lady to do that to my uncle, knowing that he a good dude, this been happening for longer than 40 years. That this was happening in the early 70s, just leaving the 60s, and the judge made my uncle pay for her for a lifetime. It's crazy. My uncle lived through a prison in his own mind. His finances was a prison. His economics was a prison, bro. Surely you can. Oh, man. So you guys need to understand this, that is a reason why guys got a history of women in this country and they feel a certain type of way. Some dudes let it out every day on the internet. Some dudes just remove themselves from dating or marriage. And shout out to my uncle for putting that in my mind early. Not to have no babies in the States, not to get married, or not to take a woman seriously here as far as dating or marriage. He called Professor Grego and the homie Jay Clyde. So you guys need to know that. So when you knock dudes for feeling a certain type of way, if they ain't out there bugging, Jay Clyde said, what's an American U.S. woman? Picture the judge in his 70s with them old style cars and with the gear that they used to judge, like JJ on Good Times. Not like that, but that was the extreme version. But like his pops, how they used to dress with their shirts always tucked in. And for you to go into court and the judge, because there's no DNA, say, bump, we don't have no DNA, you got to send her that money. That's crazy, bro. All of those years you had to pay for 70s. Think about it. The baby was young. So the 70s, 80s, 90s. My uncle didn't finish paying until the late 80s. That's crazy, bro. That's insane. My uncle had to pay for 18 years for a child that wasn't his. 18 years he was under a prison. Crazy. And the mother took the money. The mother took the money, knowing that that wasn't his child. And y'all mean to tell me dudes are not supposed to have reservations hearing their family members several times over going through that? Now, some dudes, they were just screwing women over. I'm not talking about those guys. Those are the low rung of society, even if they my family. They're the low rung of society. We don't give them no credit, no passes. They just horrible men. You see what we doing here? We calling them men horrible. You know what you women to do? You'll cape for a woman like that who taking advantage and say, oh, that was wrong, and that's all you'll do. But men as actions, we took our semen, we took our attention, we took our time away from the dating and marriage here. Peace.